There's a certain kind of fame where a person doesn't need a last name anymore. Say Tyra, and everyone knows exactly who you mean. But here's the thing. Tyra Banks didn't just walk runways. She rewired how an entire industry thought about beauty, about ambition, about what a model was even allowed to be. Cover girl, Victoria's Secret angel, talk show host, TV producer. On paper, it reads like a highlight reel. But underneath it is something more stubborn. A girl who refused to shrink herself to fit a world that for a long time told her she didn't. This is that story, from the very beginning to right now. December 4th, 1973. Inglewood, California. That's where it all starts, with a baby named Tyra Lynn Banks, born to Donald, a computer consultant, and Carolyn, a medical photographer. She had an older brother, Devin, 5 years ahead of her. And when Tyra was just 6, her parents split up. It could have been messy. It wasn't. Both of her parents stayed close, stayed involved, kept showing up for her. As a kid, Tyra would raid her mum's closet, throw on whatever she could find, and pretend she was strutting down a runway. Cute, sure. But nobody, least of all Tyra herself, thought it meant anything. In fact, modeling wasn't even on her radar growing up. She wanted to write, to make films. It was a classmate, almost offhand, who told her, "You could be a model." One sentence. That's all it took to bend the entire trajectory of her life. At 15, with her mum's help, she pulled together a modeling portfolio. At 17, she started knocking on agency doors. Then came Paris. And Paris changed everything. New models are supposed to pay their dues slowly. Tyra didn't get that memo. In her first week alone, she booked 25 shows. 25. Nobody had done that before. Suddenly she was walking for Chanel, Dior, Yves Saint Laurent, Oscar de la Renta, Armani, Calvin Klein. The kind of names that make or break careers. Her face started showing up in Vogue, Elle, Harper's Bazaar. But here's where the story gets interesting. In an industry obsessed with thinness, Tyra's body changed a little in the early 90s. And instead of starving herself back into a mold that never really fit her, she walked away from it. She pivoted to swimwear and lingerie, where curves weren't a liability. Looking back, that decision didn't slow her down. 1993. CoverGirl signs her. And just like that, model becomes supermodel. That same year, she pops up on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, testing the waters of TV for the first time. Then 1996 hits, and it's a big one. First African-American woman on the cover of GQ. First black woman on the cover of the Victoria's Secret catalog. A year later, she becomes a Victoria's Secret angel, a title she'd hold until 2005. But if you had to pick one moment, the one that really mattered, it's 1997. When Tyra becomes the first African-American woman on the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. A magazine cover, sure, but also a door kicked wide open for everyone who came after her. Oh, and VH1 named her Supermodel of the Year that same year. Modeling wasn't enough. Tyra wanted more, so she went after acting too. 1995 brought her film debut in the drama Higher Learning. Then in 2000, things really picked up. She starred alongside Lindsay Lohan in Disney's Life Size and played the unforgettable Zoe in Coyote Ugly, a genuine box office hit. That same year, she squeezed in a small role in Love and Basketball. 2002 saw her step into horror with Halloween Resurrection. And later, she'd pop up in guest spots on shows like Gossip Girl and Glee, proof that by then, Tyra could show up anywhere and audiences would show up too. Here's where Tyra stopped being just a face and became a force behind the camera. In 2003, she created America's Next Top Model. And calling it just a reality show doesn't really do it justice. It was a launch pad, a place where unknown hopeful models could walk in as nobodies and walk out with an actual shot at the industry Tyra had spent a decade conquering. She wasn't just hosting it. She created it, produced it, ran it. The show ran from 2003 to 2015, took a short break, came back in 2017 and 2018, 24 seasons in total. Say what you want about it now, but at the time, it was a genuine cultural moment. And she wasn't done. In 2005, she launched The Tyra Banks Show, a daily talk show tackling everything from self-esteem to body image to the messier parts of being a woman in the public eye. It ran until 2010 and picked up back-to-back daytime Emmys in 2008 and 2009. Behind all of it was her own production company, Bankable Productions, later rebranded SMYs. Somewhere in all of this, Tyra also became a writer. In 1998, she published Tyra's Beauty Inside and Out, part memoir, part manifesto on self-worth. Then in 2010, she went further, releasing Modelora, a young adult novel drawn loosely from her own life in fashion. It hit #1 on the New York Times bestseller list the following year. Not bad for a supermodel turned novelist. She didn't stop at books. Tyra Beauty, her own cosmetics line, launched with a simple idea baked into the name. Confidence isn't something you buy, but good products can help you find it. And in a plot twist nobody saw coming, Tyra went back to school, not modeling school, Harvard Business School, for an executive management program. She also co-developed a personal branding course at Stanford. Runway to lecture hall, an unlikely combination that somehow made perfect sense for her. More recently, she launched Smize and Dream, her own ice cream brand, because apparently reinventing yourself never ends. You'd think, after decades in the industry, Tyra might be done with runways. She wasn't. In 2019, 22 years after her first Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover, she posed for a third one. A full circle moment nobody was expecting. And then in 2024, she did it again, walking the Victoria's Secret fashion show, closing the entire show. For longtime fans, that walk wasn't just nostalgia. It was a reminder that she never really left. She just stepped back to build everything else. Along the way, Time magazine has repeatedly named her among the world's most influential people. And Models.com, the industry's own record keepers, has crowned her a legendary supermodel. Not many people get that title. So what do you actually call Tyra Banks? Model doesn't cover it. Actress doesn't either. Neither does host or producer or entrepreneur, because she's been all of them, one after another, sometimes all at once. What ties it together is simpler than any of those titles. She kept starting over. Every time an industry tried to define her, too curvy, too ambitious, too much, she just built something new instead of shrinking to fit. She cracked open doors that had been shut for decades. She talked about body image before it was a hashtag. She gave an entire generation of unknown models a shot they never would have gotten otherwise. And now, in her 50s, still walking runways, still building businesses, still finding new rooms to walk into. Tyra Banks isn't just a name from the 90s. She's proof that if you keep showing up as yourself, eventually the world stops asking you to be anything else.